Well, welcome to the second episode of the Templars Talk podcast. And today we are going to talk about 2023. Let's start with what were like the best live shows that we have seen. I mean, we've come to quite a lot of festivals, shows. So I thought we could make a little bit of a recap of what we've seen and which were the best memories. What were yours, Elvira?
Well, my live shows have only been in the last half of the year, so not much before. I very much enjoyed the combination of Death Angel and Angelus Apatrida in the Patronaat. It was very hot and it was crowded.
Yeah.
I think the circle pit was going from the first second on with every band. The sound was good. The energy was good. The band, they were great. I think it was probably my favorite show of the year.
Oh, that's really cool. I mean, I always like seeing Death Angel. They always have good energy and they always seem to like really enjoy playing so much.
Yes.
I mean, they never look bored or something. I really like that from them.
Yes, and Angelus Apatrida, we saw them at Into the Grave Festival.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a sunny afternoon.
Mm.
And I quite liked them. But this, venue show, it was much nicer.
Yeah, you get a bit of a different atmosphere when you're inside, of course. And I think for them, that would totally work better than being out there in the sun.
Yeah, they're both one of those bands where you cannot stand still. You know, you have to nod your head and you have to groove along. And
yeah, true. And I think, I mean, they've been around for so long, so it's cool that they are still entertaining, at least us, very well. I mean, there's also bands that you keep seeing and think like, oh, the last 10, 12 years, you keep on seeing exactly the same, even though you're playing different songs.
And the same breakup songs, you know, in between.
Yeah. I mean, I will not call any names. So, Testament. Good. No, good for them. I really like that one always when I see them. So, cool.
So, other shows, I quite like Primordial.
Oh,
they played with Ultima Ratio Fest together with Paradise Lost, Omnium Gatherum, and Harakiry for the Sky. I quite liked Harakiry for the Sky as well, but I was a little bit late due to traffic and I missed the first part of their set.
Oh,
and I think it would have been better if I saw it. You know, you need to get into it, I think. And it was the first time. And Primordial, they were just great. I don't know. It was the energy was good, the venue, the people were nice, the sound was good, the bass was very loud. It was very, very nice.
The thing is, Harakiry for the Sky, I remember seeing that on Amsterdam Metal Fest, like, years ago. I mean, the festival is not around anymore, but, like, I remember I always saw them and I was like, it's okay, they're not bad, but doesn't stand out. And then when I recently saw them, I think in Stonehenge, and I was looking at their show thinking, oh wow, this is like, now I get it. I mean, I get the hype.
It took a while.
It took a while indeed, but maybe also they grew, of course, through the years. But they're always very eager to, so that's good.
Yeah, I think their presence on stage was really something different. I don't know how to explain that, but it was really energetic, I think. Well, the music is a little bit different, but I quite enjoyed both bands. And then I saw, when was it? September, I think. Endoceans.
Oh yeah, totally.
From Finland. They played in Antwerp. Well, actually, they played in the Netherlands, but that was
not at that show, at least. But...
No, didn't went to that show, so I thought, let's go to Antwerp. Cross the border.
I know. I mean, I saw them in Tuska, and they were really having an energetic show, and I think...
You actually sent me a film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lights
that's
film.
True. I was updating you about that, indeed. But, I mean...
It's nice to have music friends.
True, but to be honest, I mean, I reviewed their album, and they are which is our next category to talk about in my list of best albums. It was it an album or an EP? I'm not sure. I think an album.
Album, I think.
Yeah, but anyway, I really, really enjoyed that album a lot. So I was like, I have to go and make time to go to their set on Tuska. And Tuska nowadays has a lot of choices to make schedule-wise. But yeah, so I just really wanted to go and see them. And they were totally nice doing that show like that. It was intimate. It was energetic. Terrible lightning though, because I don't know why, but...
Well, that was like... Because I was in Antwerp. It was in Kafka Oudaan, I think. It was a really tiny place. It was on a Tuesday evening. I think there were like, I don't know, 50, 70 people maybe.
Oh, wow.
It was really not much.
No, that's...
It was really a tiny, but it was, I think there were 4 bands playing. I think they were the second band. And maybe it was the most crowded when they were playing.
Yeah, because...
it was really dark, but it was so nice.
I think also what I noticed for the Tuska show is that because of Matthias from Vintrol being in there, it kind of draws a lot of Vintrol fans there. Even though the music is really not that compatible. So I always wonder what they like of it.
Well, I think that show was different because there were quite some, satanic... Satan black metal bands as well.
Oh yeah, that
maybe
that
not
suits
satanic,
them better.
But quite.
Yeah, I can imagine that
they played with Attic and with
so that
black metal,
draws
so
also other crowds of probably.
Yes, there were also not many girls there. I think more male.
Yeah, that's
audience.
Yeah, usually when Vintrol is around, you see a lot of females indeed.
And then I have 2 more. I quite liked Amorphis and Tivoli. They played with Solstafir and Lost Society. It was fun to see Lost Society because that's been 10 years, I think, or 9 years.
Yeah, that's cool. We've seen them grow from the beginning.
Yes, from little to...
Yeah, and I remember they were putting up a barbecue on the stage with Children of Bottom.
Oh, Children of Bottom, yes, that was fun.
Children of Bottom was playing and suddenly you see Lost Society people on the stage putting up a barbecue. Like, what is going on over there?
I actually knew that was coming, but it was still fun. It was weird.
Like...
but it was nice to see them. And Amorphis, I mean, their show is just, it's a good production. Everything seems to fit. The sound, the lights...
Amorphis never really, really disappoints me. Like, I've seen them so many times through the years at festivals mainly, and like, it's one of those bands that even if you're not like super fan, you can always enjoy.
Yes.
I mean, they are putting up the show very professionally. Like, they're always there doing their best, and no matter how bad of a shitty day they had, you always see them playing there as if it is the best day of their life. And I really appreciate that from them. So
the only thing was I only know the much older songs, so but a few newer ones was like, okay, I had no clue.
Yeah, but that gives you something to catch up on.
I know. And I think I have to say my best live show, and this is maybe because it was the only show it wasn't the only show I went to without a camera, but maybe most of those I was working. So this one I was actually in the crowd, somewhere in the front because of you.
I know, sorry. I had to work,
I felt like a fangirl.
Oh, come on. You were not a fangirl if you saw what was happening behind you.
I didn't see.
Oh, no.
But it was, it was Poisonblack in Helsinki and On the Rocks.
Yeah.
Because, well, you have to ask me again. You're gonna ask me about this anyway. But the stage was really close, or we were close up on the stage.
Yeah.
I wasn't standing first row actually, but there was a teeny tiny Finnish. I'm quite tall, and there was a teeny tiny Finnish girl in front of me. And then I don't know the names of the people in the band, but the bass player was standing right in front of me, and he was standing with his feet on the monitor. And he was leaning forward, and the bass was hanging over the head of the girl. and almost in my face. And I could actually hear the snare, moving, and like a few times I had to back up because of the top of the.
That's
it was. And the sound of the monitor was also quite loud, so I had my bass experience.
Yeah, it was a very intimate show. Definitely, and it's cool that Poisonblack. I mean, they quit a couple years ago for reasons, and that now they come back and actually do the tour with the very first album again.
The vibe was really...
it was really cool because...
everyone in the audience was eager, I don't think there was anyone who was dragged along or just went there because they didn't want to be on the couch at home.
Yeah.
I think everyone wanted to have a good time. And, everything that happened on stage, the audience went like a little nuts, I think. So it was nice. And it was nice to see them interact with each other. It was nice to see how they... it seemed it was such an ease to, communicate with the audience and interact.
Yeah, true. They were
really
living their best. I was amazed with the amount of people and their eagerness, I guess, because I think they might not have expected it. I mean, I've been following Poisonblack quite a while, especially with the last albums. I've been along with them, so I've seen how the audience was for those albums at the end, where. It was definitely more male audience in a way. So then you would see with this album, I think. Of course, because of different style, more bluesy rather than this gothic that they had in the first album. And I think they look back upon that thinking, okay, that was what we expected. Like a more mellow audience that maybe is eager to see it again. And instead they got this super enthusiastic wild crowd that flew in from all corners of the world.
Yes,
and,
that amazed me.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, I was also in the show, there was 2 days before, that was in Tampere, in Finland also. And I think for me, that show topped the On The Rocks show a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It was more in a theater vibe. It was a beautiful stage. I really liked it. Really nice lighting also. And they had a little bit more space to walk around. And for me, the vibe was just a little bit more even than maybe in Helsinki. But that's, I don't know. It's just, that was just a little bit different, I guess. I think also maybe more people in there than could fit in On The Rocks. Of course, they did 2 shows in On The Rocks. And we only went to 1 show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked it. And you could really notice though how much they enjoyed being back together and their friendship being back to what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That they seem again like a couple of brothers being on the road again instead of like being sick and tired of each other, just playing the music or whatever.
Because they have to.
It was never that bad, but you could totally tell that this brought up some new energy with them. So yeah. Cool to see.
Well, and that weekend I actually saw Hex Vessel in Helsinki as well, without a camera. So I've been to shows without a camera actually.
Cool, but
sorry,
that band didn't make it to the top.
No.
Ah, too bad.
No, because it
wasn't maybe your genre too much.
Well, I quite liked it, but I was also meeting a few people, and I was talking, and then I saw a Finnish guy that I haven't seen for 10 years. So I went to talk to him, and then some friends of yours that I met there. And then, you see the show, but you don't see everything. So
yeah, true.
It was really nice. I quite liked, they had a beamer up at the back with a video wall, not beamer, video wall, sorry.
Visuals, just call it visuals, that covers it all.
And that was quite nice. These days a lot of bands have visuals.
True.
But not always they're quite fitting with the band. And I think it really added something. So that's
they
nice.
Quite have this the energy what they want to show people, and their style is really thought out, I think.
Yeah.
They take a lot of time to make that fitting with their team. So that's good.
So that was nice.
That was nice. There was an honorable mention, maybe.
An honorable mention, yes, definitely.
Good. Yeah, I had been also to Helsinki in Helsinki Tech Fest.
Yeah.
And I saw Hacktivist there, which was long on my wish list. I don't have a long wish list at all. I mean, usually when I want to see a band, I go to see a band. I don't care where or whatever. I'll just go.
Well, let's go to Helsinki to see. Okay, when do we fly out?
Yeah, true. But like,
let's go to Germany. Okay.
That's. I mean, I like to make that effort, and I mean, but for Hacktivists, I mean, I always thought they would come, and I think they also been in the Netherlands a couple times, but they were playing at some fest, and the dates were never working. And good. So now I had no excuse. I had to go there, and of course, the organization of the Helsinki Tech Fest welcomes me with a big smile always when I'm around. So, I mean, kudos to them for that. They're amazing. And Hacktivist, it's amazing how they got their show going on. It's like they missed band members. There was no drummer, so they had to put that on a computer.
Oh, yeah, you told me.
That was like, I think he had some car accident or something. There was.
But they make it work.
Yeah, they made it work, and also they had some gear left behind on some sort of airport somewhere.
Schiphol, maybe?
I don't know, but at least they didn't got all their guitars, and they had to like borrow some, so they had to do that. And then there was this crowd growing amazingly wild. Like I mean, Finnish people are usually a bit more mellow compared to other European countries, I think. And this was just like, I'm standing here in this On the Rocks club, which is, I don't know what their capacity is exactly. I think I asked at some point, but like, it's not big. It's small.
500?
No, not even. I think less. But indeed, like, then you see this huge mosh pit going around, and everybody's having a good time, and the band's like, at the end, people keep shouting for encore, and the guys are like, well, we don't have our drummer, we didn't really prepare for more, but do you guys mind if we play one of the songs again then? And no, that was not an issue to any of the audience members, I guess. They asked we could simply mention what song we wanted to hear, and I think when they played Niggers in Paris, it's a cover song, obviously, but like when they played that, that was crazy. I mean,
that's nice. When the crowd...
I really enjoyed that show. I mean, also, it was on my wish list to see them, so of course you're always having expectations. Yeah. But that's also a risk that you get disappointed then.
I mean, that's definitely true, because sometimes you have this high expectation. Definitely after a lot of years, when they're on your wish list for quite some time, and then you see them and they're just not as good as you expected them to be.
Yeah. That is, but like for them it was amazing. I thought they were so eager to play there. They were completely overwhelmed with what they were receiving from the audience, and I can imagine. I mean, how many times have I been in Finland? I lived there. I never saw an audience going that wild for a band. So good for them. Yay.
Yes. And what else?
Well, I was in Sweden. Here we go. I travel a lot for bands, but I went to see 2 bands, and I put in a disclaimer. They're friends of mine, so I make the effort a little bit easier to go and see them then, I guess. But it was in their hometown. They brought a lot of people, then their friends and family, and also actually fans. They have grown quite a following there already, and they are a dark gothic band, and Svarta Sanningar, which is more like occult rock, doom-ish, kind of psychedelic sort of band.
Something.
It's hard to describe because they're also quite catchy in a way, and I don't know. I really enjoy seeing them their show. They sing in Swedish, but they're the kind of band that could totally work international. And I told them, like, you should go outside of your country. Yeah, but nobody wants us. Well, I think.
Well, if you don't try, you never know.
I mean, I said to them, go to Finland. There's like a lot of people liking Swedish bands, Swedish singing, Swedish language. Yes. Because when I was in Tuska this year, at one day I saw like 4 Swedish bands or something. Like it was Vintrol. There was some Bob Malmström.
Culture.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. There were some. I didn't. There were quite some of them, and like, I mean, Bob Stop. I always say Bob Stop. They're Finnish, but they're with Swedish backgrounds, so they sing in Swedish. They're punk rock and they're amazing. If you like that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I said, go. You have to try in Finland, and well, who knows? Maybe they get there. I hope so, because they played a really nice show. Good bands to see if they're coming near you. Well, and then I actually have some Dutch shows on my list as well. Wow. I mean, I still go to shows in my own country sometimes. Yeah, and that's actually 2 Dutch bands even.
I also saw a nice Dutch band actually.
Yeah. But the one I want to speak about is Misanthropia, which is a black metal band, and they played in Astrand in Ede. It was a show that you could walk in for free, and they played with some other bands from different genres, so it was a bit of a strange evening seeing people that surprisingly did manage to stay around for all the other bands. Yeah, but if you have like heavy metal audience that and does not necessarily like black metal, you know, so... But it was really good to see them. Yeah, and I thought they have a bit of a melodic feel into it. They have good vocals. They really got their shit together. And I noticed they have been booking quite some shows. So I'm not surprised if they will be growing a lot next year. Because that was a really nice show. And the same counts for Radeloos Ziedend. I saw them in Willemijn. I saw them a couple months before in a small bar in Eibergen, organized by Achterhoek Metal Fest people. They did a couple club shows or bar shows, basically. I think that show, when I went there were maybe like 40 or 50 people max. But like, yeah, their music was really, really cool. They recently released an album. I did not have the time to go to the release show in Nijmegen, but I will definitely see them on the road again. They're really, in one way, they're a bit introvert or something, but if you see them as people, they don't radiate being very extrovert. But then you see them on the stage and they start playing, and you realize how much that music is traveling into you. That's really, really something cool. So I expect that they will be traveling a lot this year to play some shows abroad, maybe also. Yeah,
that actually reminds me, if I didn't mention any Dutch band in there, but if I have to say one, I saw Distant played in Biblo, and I played with the lights. But it's nice because they played a quite tiny, well, our venue is still tiny, I think, compared to bigger venues. Yeah. They're not too tiny, but when you know they played like America with Lorna Shore and Europe with Lorna Shore, like stadiums. Yeah. It's kind of different.
Yeah, different atmosphere for sure.
And they played in a... Well, actually, I think they didn't play in Mage Stage. They played Power Stage, so it was like max 300 people. So compared to those stadium tours they did later on in the year, like it's special.
That's wow. Yeah.
So strange. And they seem to be doing quite a good job.
Yeah.
So it's fun to have seen them in a small...
Yeah, cool, because I can imagine if you tour with Lorna Shore, which is like...
You explode,
super hyped at the moment.
Yes.
I think you get a lot of attention from all these very dedicated fans of Lorna Shore.
Well, I think Distant deserves it. They're quite hardworking guys, I think.
Well, then let's move on to talk about the best albums of the year. Maybe I shall start with a couple then, since you started before. My absolute best album of the year, I cannot deny it, is Morlocks, Praise the Iconoclast. I mean, wow, I've been waiting. I mean, their previous album is one of those albums that I kept listening for a long time, like always in the car. And it's like, for me as a reviewer, I usually listen to an album and I read the review and then I have to move on to the next review. So I listen to the album a couple times and then I just cannot dedicate the time to keep listening. But then Morlocks kind of stopped releasing albums or playing shows for like 10 years or so. So in the meantime, every year I kept listening to this album. And
now there was a new album.
Luckily, they finally came with a new album. I mean, I've talked about this also in my Q&A that I did on YouTube. So maybe some people have heard that. But like, when I finally came with the album, I was scared even to listen to it. I was like, oh my God.
What if it
I
disappoints?
have super high expectations because that previous album has been listened to so much. And especially after 10 years, usually bands change a bit in their genre, maybe, or, you know, it's either a sort of copy of what they did before and just never as spectacular, or it is like completely different that you don't feel the same vibe with the previous album. So I was a bit anxious to look into it when you're that invested. But then again, I listened to the album and I immediately knew, no, this is just like the previous one. That's gonna get it's one of those albums that I keep listening to. I think it came out a couple months ago now, and well, it is in my player quite regularly, multiple times per week, sometimes multiple times per day. So I cannot deny this is my absolute top of the year.
Yes.
I cannot.
Mine is not that obvious.
No? Well, what was your total top then for the year?
Well,
the best of bests.
I'm actually not quite sure if it was the best because I had, like I mentioned before in the first episode, I think I've been mainly listening to older albums the whole year round. And this album, I will mention the name, but I think it came out in February last year. Yeah, still this year. My head is already in the next year.
Well, people will probably be listening to this in 24.
Yeah, well, but I have End Oceans on one with As in Gardens, So in Tombs. Yeah, I've just listened to it many times over the year compared to all the other albums. So I just gave it more spins. Maybe the music grows more on you. I saw them live. That helps as well, I think.
Yeah.
So that's my number one.
Well, what I have furthermore on my list is surprisingly...
I think you actually...
Sent the album to you, probably.
No, but you talked about it, I
think. Could be, because I was really...
And then I got curious.
I was really enjoying it when I was reviewing it. So I think I probably mentioned that to you. Like, it might be something you would enjoy.
And sometimes I do check out what you mentioned.
Yeah, and otherwise...
Not always.
And otherwise I make you.
Yes. Like yesterday with Morlocks.
Mm-hmm. You just have to know why I'm so obsessed with it. So then I have on my list Omnium Gatherum. I always enjoy them, but I've never been like heavily listening to their music that much. But
we saw them.
Yeah, we saw
many times together, actually.
Yeah, true. But I really liked the EP, and I remember when we were going to shoot them on Into the Grave, I told you, that EP I was listening to, the Slasher, was like, I think I mentioned just before we entered the pit, like that EP was pretty awesome. So
yes, you said that.
Yeah, that one is definitely on my list. Then I have the Foreshadowing there, but those have they wrote an EP called Forsaken Songs, and like I think 3 or 4 all of the songs could have been heard before in some form, sometimes a bit different, but those were all bonus materials or like just a different version or a live version. So it's good to have that if you're like one of those people who buys the first edition that comes out and then a band later on releases something with a bonus song.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that just goes and buy another copy. No, but sorry.
We're not those fans anymore.
No, but I've never done that. I'm like, if I have an album, I have an album. I think it's even a bit insulting that you like bands do that. They give extra songs for Japan or something. Like, really? Do we not deserve that or something? What? That feels, I don't know. That's a different topic maybe, but Yeah, so it was indeed that EP. I think it's nice for the fans, and it kind of brings back the band. They also took a bit of a break, so it's good to have them back in the picture. And yeah, I know that there might be something coming up at some point again from them, so that's good. What do I want to mention? Oh yeah, AVGMNT. That's kind of one that's... I mean, I got that album as a promo in my email, but one of my crew members, Mila, took it for reviewing. And I'm always like, if somebody else wants to review it most of the time, so I'm like, yeah, please do so, because I have a gazillion of others that could be reviewed by me.
Yes.
So then I just give it up. And then later on, I was like, she was enthusiastic about it. I already had the feeling that it would be something I would like. It's a bit electronic. Not that much metal, but I just wanted to check it out anyway, and it's just one of those albums that I listen to regularly, especially in the car. Electronic, but not metal.
Good car city.
Yeah. And Oceans.
Yes. Then
I think I have a couple that I would see mainly as honorable mentions or something, like Liv Christina did an album. I've not been like super... I'm not the biggest fan of female voices.
You're not?
No, I'm not.
Me neither, so...
No, it takes a really special woman for me to be fan. So let's say it like that. And Liv Christina, I sometimes like it, sometimes I don't. But, I mean...
So this time around she did...
Yeah, the thing
something...
is... Well, no, but like the story is why I even listen to it. I mean, that woman has been through a lot with her personal relations, being... put out in the open, somebody stealing her band, the band she founded, on a quite vicious way. Good, that's been behind it. But I was wondering, somebody else in the crew also reviewed this, and then I was listening to it, and I realized that there are some songs in there where she literally puts out her feelings on that.
Okay.
But in a very Liv Christina way. So I really enjoyed that. I think that that's worth a good mention.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Fate to Embrace, Manifestum Infernalis, death metal. Yep, the thing is, that band. And I have the first releases that they made. I have them in my collection. I must say I'm not a big listener of that at all, but I do have it. And then I realized that they had something new out coming, and I was like, I need to check it. Also because I know some of them. And I really enjoyed listening to it. I did ask them some question, are you going to play it live? And they say probably not. Which was like, okay, well, then I'm not going to probably not spend that much time with it. Because I really enjoy seeing bands play live. So, but still, it was a good album. So, honorable mention. And then... one that I have to mention, and I'm a bit embarrassed because they're very good friends of mine, but I did not write a review about this one.
It will come after you.
No,
I'm sure.
No, they don't. I think they will understand because it's Bastardtown called, and the album is called Dead Songs. If you listen to the album, you realize it's a very personal thing that's behind it, and maybe for me it feels too close. So I took my time listening to it. And it's only available on Spotify, which also makes it a bit harder to listen to, I guess, because Spotify doesn't like me. It keeps putting me back to the older albums for some reason. But nevertheless, yeah, so this album, it's really, really a nice one. You can really feel the passion and the emotions behind it. But on the same time, it feels like it comes so close that you don't even want to allow it to be coming that close. And maybe that's why I also couldn't really review it yet. I might still do that though, because it really, that album deserves to be heard by many people. So,
yes. Well, we met up yesterday and she already made me listen to at least 2 albums.
No, this was one album.
Yeah, but you also made me listen to Morlocks and you made me listen to this one.
Yeah, but no, not that one. That was the previous album.
Okay, but still.
Yeah. You still got introduced to the band.
Yes.
And this album is a bit different.
Yeah, it sounded quite nice for a first spin.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have some more than one, I'm sure.
Yeah. So not a bazillion more, but I think on second I have Katatonia with Sky Void of Stars.
Oh yeah, totally. I was about to put it in my list as well. I reviewed it. I liked it, but at the same time, I didn't spend a lot of extra time with it. So that's why I didn't make it to my list.
Yeah. Like I said, I listened to a lot of older albums, so I haven't listened to this for like as many times as
yeah, true.
But you know, all those Spotify's overviews of the year, like people have like 80,000 minutes of listening. I had like not even 1,000, I think. So
I don't think. I mean, I don't like Spotify.
And I listen to
I don't
YouTube
have to
anyway,
listen.
So,
I don't.
Or CDs.
Yeah, I don't have to listen to Spotify that much because I've got the promos usually that I listen to. And otherwise, my own CD and LP collection is quite extensive. So I try to ignore Spotify a lot.
Yeah, but this one from Katatonia, it sticked out. It was nice. I'm one of those people that listen to certain styles of music when the mood is in a certain...
Yeah.
So Katatonia always fits somehow. I quite liked the album. There are some really nice tracks on it. If you haven't listened to it, go do. Then I have Angelus Apatrida, if I pronounce it quite right, with Aftermath. It's the album they put out, I think, not too long ago, like October, beginning of November, I think. So yeah, I saw them at Into the Grave, saw them at Patronat, listened to the album. They have a good, it's thrash metal, they have a good energy on it. I listened to it when I drove over here. Yeah, I quite like it. So it's on number 3. Then another album, also maybe you made me, well, not really you, but Bjørkø, Hard Rock.
Cool.
Yeah, the guitar player from Amorphis, his solo project.
Yeah, I think I did write you some email or I showed you a picture of the email of the promo or something like that. Like this is.
But then you had to interview, and I said maybe I can help with some questions. And
and then you have to listen it.
Yeah, and then you listen maybe a bit different. You listen to it with more a thought of what can you ask about it. So I think you listen quite differently to the music than when you just put it on.
Yeah, you definitely look more for the details if you have to.
But I quite like the album. Like I said, I listen to music, I pick a CD for a style when I'm in a certain mood. And this album, Bjørkø, it has a lot of different styles and had a lot of different people on it. And that seems to work quite well, for me at least. Also, Tommy Joutsum from Amorphis is also on it. But I have to say, it doesn't sound at all like Amorphis. I think we talked about it, that maybe we hoped that the album was not sounding like Amorphis, because it's so easy to do when you play for a band so long and you start doing your own thing. Somehow it, you're used to writing in a certain way and it evolves. I have to say it's...
I think he really puts his own thoughts into it, and I understand why he wants to bring that out as a solo release rather than making it part of Amorphis.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I quite like that one. I have various songs that I like from the album that have various styles, so that's really nice. And then on the 5th place there's Dozer, something different. It's stoner music. It's Drifting in the Endless Void. And it sounds nice. I haven't given it a lot of spins, just a couple of times, and I know it's just
instant good vibes.
Yeah, instant good vibes, definitely. So I have to listen to that more in the new year. And then I think some honorable mentions. I listened to Enslaved, Primordial, and Distant. Mm-hmm. Primordial and Distant because I saw them, and Enslaved just because I was curious. It works like that, sometimes. So that was my
I do want to know.
Top.
Still about Bjørkø, what was the favorite collaboration of yours then? They have every song has like a different vocalist.
Yes, so, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
I quite like the one with the Dimmu Borgir singer.
Oh yeah.
But it's really it's the most.
I think the heaviest.
Heaviest one on I quite like that one, but I also like the one with Ismo Alanko.
Oh yeah.
But it's really hard because I also like the title track with the Carcass singer.
Yeah, true.
So the hard rock, it's difficult to pick one.
Yeah,
I think because I also like the.
I like the one with Marco Hitala, and I'm not even a fan of his work whatsoever. But I mean,
we're both.
It worked for that song,
yes,
and also with what was her name, Petronella or something.
Petronella,
yeah, I don't know her, but it worked. It was just these vocals and the song. It was a very good match.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's maybe one of the interesting thing of the albums. You know, the vocalists were picked with the song, and not you in a band and you have a singer and then that's it. You know, so it maybe fits a bit better.
Cool. Well, I guess we have to do a quick one because we call it like Juice of the Year. Like, I mean, I don't like gossiping that much, but that there are some topics that you simply cannot ignore in the last year. And that's, of course, the debacle that's been going on around Rammstein.
Yes, that's been a thing, indeed.
Yeah.
And it was curious because you had a lot of people jumping to one side or the other side. You know, supporting Rammstein or
being against
screaming loudly.
I don't know. For me, it feels what I've been hearing. Literally, the girl that came out with it first, she explained, okay, I've been getting this requests on Instagram and I've been told that I could get this front row meeting, after party, whatever, drinks, whatever she was promised. Also, if she was interested in having sex with the singer, they literally wrote that. She said that they literally wrote that to her. She agrees to do it to that, so she can get front row to the concert, whatever. She knew what was requested. Mm-hmm. She's okay with that. And then afterwards, she comes to the party. She decides she doesn't want anymore. It's her total right to say. You can always say no if you don't feel like it. Sure. But then she is surprised that she gets a little bit annoyed reaction from the singer. But she also said that he walked away. Like, what exactly was your problem? I don't get it. Okay,
well,
I mean, of course, there were also other stories, but that story specifically for me was like, you knew what was going on. It was all written out clearly and you were okay with it at first.
I think it's a really, I mean, the topic is really...
It's kind of controversial to have this opinion, I know, but like...
Yeah, well, it's, I worked in a venue for so long. I've seen things happening. I've seen groupies. I've seen, I've seen it all.
I think we all seen it. Yeah.
It's always been there. And even I went to a band one time. Actually, I went to see another band, but the band was headlining. And I've been scouted in the crowd. And there was a guy coming up, like talking to a walkie-talkie, like, oh, this girl with red hair. I had red hair back then. Oh, this girl with red hair. And I got a after show pass. And I was like, I thought it was from the band, the other band I was going to see anyway. But so it's been... scouting this does happen.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
I mean, for me...
Do you really think that... I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if you knew on forehand it was written out, it was not a surprise that what was the expectation there. I mean, if you could not say that you didn't know, But if it was written out to you...
There is a line between... I know we might say it quite easy, like when you're a girl and you're invited by a band to a backstage party, you kind of can assume, but also not, because there's a line, we've been we've met a lot of bands,
but
before or after or in a pub somewhere without a gig, but nothing ever happens because
you always have to...
They're also guys and they also understand, and it doesn't matter if it's at a gig or if it's in a local pub or if it's somewhere else. There is a line when people drug you to have sex, and I think that crosses a line.
True.
So when a band does that, I think it's totally wrong.
Absolutely. I don't support that at all. But like, for me, my point is like, it was literally written out to you that... There was this expectation, and you complain about it afterwards. Then I'm like, what is going on? And especially for that woman, nothing happened because the guy walked away, and she was like kind of angry or something about that. I'm not sure, but like, I'm like, there's also other stories where stuff had apparently been happening, which is not proven because he has been
yes, the verdict was.
The verdict wasn't that was not any evidence. So we don't know whether that was the case. Let's for the sake say that it happened. Whatever. That's not okay. But then I think like in that woman, nothing really happened, but she knew on forehand that this was going on. Why are you going to the press about it at that point? Like,
I don't know. Big name?
I don't know. For me, that's just the part that I cannot agree with. Like, you had the chance to... you don't... I mean, if somebody offers you that in front of you, you can always say afterwards, no, I did not say that, or yes, I did say that, or... I mean, I can imagine that you have to respond instantly. But when somebody sends you a message on Instagram, you have the time to think about this, try to leave your logic,
on the other
literally
hand,
see it there, and then think, okay, maybe I should or maybe I should not take up
so
on
this
this
person
offer.
got a message in front, but I can understand, and I'm not talking about Rammstein, but just in general, I can understand that at bands there are like girls that are 15 or 16. They don't feel really secure about themselves. Maybe
True.
They're
flattered that they get asked.
And
yeah,
they're going to see a band they really like, and then someone is saying, "Oh, you can meet your idol." You know, it's
hard.
If it happens like that, I think the band is taking advantage of young girls. But,
True. I think it's taking advantage anyway, but like people still have a bit of responsibility of their own actions.
Yes.
And when you willingly agree to go, and then I'm like, you still have all the right to refuse afterwards, absolutely, but then don't complain about the response of annoyance. I mean, I can imagine that if somebody promised me something and I give you everything that you've been promised.
Well, like, I
don't know. I can be a bit like, and then walk away.
Maybe it's too easy to say that. I mean, she did get a message to ask for sex, but then still, if at the point when it's going to happen and she said no, he has to listen.
Yeah, but he did. That's what she said.
Yeah, I don't know because I didn't.
That's why I'm so shocked that she still comes out with the story. I mean, if it would be a totally different story if he would not listen to it and goes after whatever he wanted anyway, you know?
Yeah.
That's a different story. But for me, it's like, okay, so what exactly was your problem? He walked away angry, maybe, but yeah.
So, but we don't know. We weren't there.
Yeah,
we cannot judge.
But
we've seen
now
groupies.
Yeah.
In our own experience of shows.
Sure.
I know there's bands that do take advantage of younger girls.
Yeah.
I think we both.
So
it's I don't know. It's definitely maybe a thing in the music world.
Not just the music world, I think.
No,
but it is a thing.
So just be careful when you're out there.
Use common sense. Make smart decisions.
Yes.
Let's keep it with that. Otherwise, we will be talking about this forever, I guess. One thing that maybe is not that much of a juice, but I think more like a fan fact that I saw in Turkey, there is a building that has the Metallica logo on it. And apparently people at first seem to have thought that this band Metallica has been investing in real estate in Turkey for some reason. So it got into the news. But what turns out to be that the developer of that building is a big fan. And he put the logo on there because he wanted to do that. And fun fact about that is also that
I'm just wondering, can he be sued?
Yeah, that exactly was my question too.
I mean, you're using someone's logo to put on your own. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought exactly that. But also the company that developer is called Nirvana.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny.
I think, yeah. But in any way, it made the news, and whether he can keep the logo or have to take it down and pay a lot of money to Metallica, I don't know. But I had to laugh when I saw this story. I was like, Okay, it's actually pretty cool if you walk around and see this big
Yeah.
metal band logo on there. So cool.
Maybe they were just flattered. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, I think then we have to move on to our regular ones. All about the vase. What do you have about the vase this time?
Let's talk a little bit about it. I have
Yeah.
nothing special for this one. I will think of something for one of the nexts.
Okay. Well, yeah, you did talk a bit about the vase already.
Oh,
Okay, then
tiny bit.
you're dismissed.
I enjoyed the Poisonblack gig a lot.
Yeah.
Right in my face. That was
Really
special.
nice. Yeah. Well, the Ikigai. Yeah, for me, that has been that I've been having a 2023 very inspirational vibe, I guess. I think it was the year that I kind of found back myself a little bit more after being
Yeah.
really miserable
For a
after
while.
last year.
Yeah. Understandable.
The year before, let's say it like that. So I feel like I have so much energy and inspiration to do things, and I'm on the go. So that's the good thing that I wanted to share with the world. And of course, you're already noticing that by the Christmas event, the new podcast, and well, there will be some things more for next year that you will notice at some point. So that's.
Yeah, and I've been back in the photo pit after, I think, 9 years, more or less.
Yes.
Well, I've been to Into the Grave once or twice. or
Yeah, but
3
you're
or 4
you're
times,
back.
but that was more or less it.
You're
Um,
back.
So second half of this year, I did Into the Grave in June. Then I thought, well, this is actually quite nice. I miss the music. I miss
Yeah.
the photo pit moments. I miss
Dancing together
fun.
in a photo pit.
Then there was a Dynamo Metal Fest. And then I said,
I dragged you along to Finland.
yeah, really? You had to drag me along, yes.
Yes.
Gee, well, okay, come.
I'm like, I have an extra ticket, you know.
Okay.
Well, it did take a while before you took me up on the offer, though. But I kept it for you anyway.
Yeah, well,
Because I knew you would come.
I'm not a student anymore, you know, with nothing to do anyway.
I know. So, cool. That was good. You're
So yeah,
back.
then there were some venue gigs in the last, I think it was only
4 months?
October, I think. The first one was October, I think.
Possible. Yeah.
October,
good.
November days. Only 3 months, I think.
And now you're back here with a podcast.
Well, and Oceans was the first. I
so
think.
that one was, I think, September maybe.
Yeah, that was, I think, my first indoor after 10 years at least.
Working though.
Yeah. With a camera in my hands.
Yes.
I mean, there was no photo pit. I mean, apparently photo pits have been disappearing in venues, so I haven't been in a photo pit in a venue, but...
Yeah. I don't mind that always.
No,
but
me neither. But...
That's okay. Cool. Now, last one.
So-
What was on your playlist?
Since yesterday.
Well, yeah. For those who don't know, we recorded the first episode yesterday. I mean, at least I kept another album that I've been listening to for each episode to tell you people. So, but okay, mine was Morlocks. That's obvious by my previous statements, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, you made me listen to it, so
Yeah,
it's
true.
not my thing.
No,
I can tell you, well...
I kind of knew that, but
Yeah.
I still wanted you to know that why I'm liking it or something.
But it's not like I don't like industrial. I mean, I quite enjoyed in the past, like Samael,
Yeah,
and we went to
true.
Godminister, and
yeah, and
what else?
Turmion Gaitilot.
Yes, that's kind of funny. They toured with Nightwish
Oh yeah.
last year or the year before. I can't remember even. Nightwish is also not one of the bands I like. But I had these people, we discovered a new band.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that because they've been doing exactly what they were doing now for the past 15 years.
Yeah, I think I saw them in 2008 in Tavastia.
Yeah, something. And
Yeah.
they're still the same
and Tuska,
band.
and they're still, yeah.
They keep making the same album over
But it's
and
kind of
over
fun
again.
when people, they you know, it's all about, you have to be introduced to some bands, you know. I probably, there are so many, even grunge bands that I never heard of, probably, that, you know, you have to be introduced to something
Yeah.
at some point, and you cannot,
True.
there's so much music, there's so many bands, you cannot listen to all of it, but I think it was still
funny
for
us
when someone said, "Oh, I've been introduced to this amazing band. It's this band," and I was like, "Yeah, okay."
Well, I mean, I really liked what they were doing back then, but now
it was weird.
Yeah, it was, but now
their stage.
I mean, they never changed anything in the music or the performance. So for me, every time I have to see them now, I'm like, oh, can I go and see another band instead? Like, I've seen it so many times, and it's still the same. So boring. So yeah, not for me anymore. If I can avoid it, I will, because nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's that. Yeah, then that's.
And there was another band this year with the same that somebody said like, I discovered this new band, da 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 da, and I was like, wait. I also photographed this band like in 2012 or something. Like, it's so funny, you know. Like.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I just hope there's gonna be lots of new things in the new year.
Oh yeah, that's for the next episodes.
Oh.
What we're going to talk about for 2024.
Okay.
So people have to keep listening to us now to know. Okay, so
see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. In the meantime,
grab a drink,
or
go to a gig, maybe.
Go to a gig, or maybe
support your local bands.
Support your local band. Buy the t-shirts. Maybe go to the website templars.com. Check out our YouTube. We have a lot of amazing interviews from the Christmas series online, and subscribe also to the podcast if you can. Maybe give it a like. Let us know if we suck. That we also want to know.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah. Then
thank you if you made it to the end of this podcast. I see we've been rambling on for about 60 minutes.
Yeah.
I think if you meet us in a pub somewhere, we can talk about this
for more. We're
all day long.
We're good at talking.
Yes.
So anyway, thanks for listening, and see you on the next one.